We've seen a lot hit the fan over the past few days, and today was no different, as we got to see just how much damage part of the community has inflicted while others pushed back, and also we received another reversal coming in with some late breaking news. So yeah, it's been emotional, that's for sure, and to be honest with you, I really struggled to wrap my head around everything that happened. If you want to support the channel, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell as I take you through all the latest with Helldivers. If you've ever needed a strong dose of reality when it comes to online culture, and more so how the real world has shady operators, actions and consequences, and at the end of the day, heartbreak, well then, today is that day. Coming to us from Mr. Redacted, the Helldivers Superfan who presented the first dev charity challenge and was terrorized for his post, we get this message. This is a copy-paste message I'll be sending to everyone that messaged me in good faith because I think it's rude to not reply, but please understand that I have to do this to reply to the messages because of the sheer amount of them, and don't take that personally, the fact that I can't give a specific response to every single one. I've been banned from the horse sanctuary I've been volunteering at since 2011 for security reasons, which is understandable. They're just trying to get by and they can't deal with this. And fired from my job at the electrical company after 7 years. My life got basically ruined overnight for something that I thought would be fun and productive toward a game I loved and supported passionately. I'm not really an internet person, and my online presence is mostly for friends and family. I'll be stepping away from the community, Reddit, and the video game as a whole. I'm completely and undoubtedly done. Thanks for you to support and the kind words to everyone. See you later, guys. My first reaction when I read this about an hour ago was, and might I add, still is, one of total disbelief. How people can operate like this, taking what they feel is justice for a video game, Helldivers 2, and then wielding it like some hammer of truth is beyond me. We knew that Mr. Redacted had seen the horse sanctuary where he volunteers at Doxxed, but today, to now learn he's lost his passion for games, lost his ability to continue to volunteer at the place he loves to volunteer at, but also has lost his job of the last 7 years, is fucking insane. This is this man's income. It's his livelihood. It's how he puts bread on the table for him and his family. And in the course of a couple of days, based on a challenge for the developers he thought would be fun, and might I add, was in no way malicious or was devised to create a spectacle, he's lost everything because a person or persons thought it would be fun, or that they were defending the developer's honor and the sanctity of Helldivers 2. I've got more to say on this subject, that's for sure, which, I don't know, I may return to a bit later in this video if I can collect my thoughts, but as expected, the community is still pretty worked up over not only Mr. Redacted's treatment and statement, but also the Reddit mod statement we received yesterday, which, by the way, I broke down in this video, link to which can be found in the video description and pinned comments. But the quick explanation is that many in the community feel that with the Arrowhead statement and the new rules put in place by the Helldivers Reddit mods, it has effectively ended the game and declared the doxers and the toxic Reddit radicals as the winners. To give you a better feel for the emotions kind of pent up over the last few days and ultimately the net result, here's a post from Reddit user Costumed Orphan titled, "The World is Broken." The guy who got doxxed has had his life ruined. The devs respond with some cookie-cutter response to what's been going on with an effing LARP at the end, and the mods now are saying challenges to the devs of any kind are not allowed. The takeaways: doxing is a fruitful endeavor. Arrowhead takes these issues about as seriously as the satire in the game. The mods are woefully unprepared and out of touch. I'd really like all the people involved to be better, and people can get better. I don't expect this post to be up for long, but mods who read it, please look at other better moderated communities for examples and have the humility to understand that there are things you can learn from others. To Arrowhead, please address this in a more appropriate manner and don't end your response in a faux fascist slogan. To the people who doxed this guy, who only wanted the game and communication with the devs to improve, consider your behavior. And I know you won't, since you're the type of people to do this thing to begin with. Consider owning up, not on Reddit, but to the proper authorities who can make a difference, and if not then, to someone who can help you out of whatever poor mental state made you believe this was okay. I thought we all wanted the game and community to be good and to have a positive effect in people's lives. It turns out that it's just most of us, and I want those people to sound off. You see, for a lot of the community, they saw yesterday's Arrowhead post denouncing doxing, and they thought that was all that had been posted. But like we touched on yesterday, there was the second, much lengthier Helldivers Reddit mod response with their recap of what had happened. And like I thought and said as much yesterday, the new rule that any further challenges to Arrowhead would no longer be allowed on the server did not go down well with the community, because essentially it just meant that the doxers and the hate posters had won. Now, caught up in this instant course correction on posting the dev challenges, which also included any discussions about them, was Brainstorm and Theory, who is the person responsible for posting the second $1,000 dev challenge, the one involving the loadout. You see, once Mr. Redacted went through what he went through, there was a ton of myths and disinformation flying around the community, of which Brainstorm and Theory was caught up in the center of. Apparently, he tried to post a follow-up response to basically everything to help clarify what was fact and what was fiction, and because it was related to the dev challenge, his post was also removed. Anyways, here's what he had to say about that post removal, and I honestly don't know how long this current post will be live, but anyways, here's what he said. Why are you not mentioning or clearing up any details about my loadout side of the challenge? A huge part of the ordeal. Why did you delete my follow-up post that provided crucial information about the topic in an attempt to prevent people from being misinformed? I spent 4 hours putting a lot of care into my follow-up post to try and be as thorough as possible with up-to-date info and context on the situation, and you locked it within a few hours and then deleted entirely later on. I cannot make another one of those posts. You have caused irreparable damage to the situation by completely shutting down and actively suppressing any conversation which has directly caused an uncontrolled spread of rumors and misinformation. I have been getting DMs from people apologizing to me for having to experience getting doxxed, except I am not the one who got doxxed. Their hearts are in the right place, but I am not the right guy. I and many other people trying to inform others have made the distinction between me and the original OP, the YouTubers, and everything else very clear, and you deleted everything. And he says everything in all caps. Since then, it has been left to fester, and people are confused about what the hell is going on. Not to mention that you've left the original OP's follow-up video post, the one that literally resulted in him getting doxxed, online for people to continue to see and abuse for some reason. You have made it essentially impossible for anyone to control the situation. You have made it essentially impossible for me to try and get people to understand the different parts of this drama. I exist, yet even in your statement here, you refuse to acknowledge my existence despite knowing I exist because you've already gone out to delete my posts. In all caps, he ends with, shame on you. And by the way, this was one of my biggest fears with the 180 the Reddit mods took about the dev challenge, because they started going in and deleting everything, which included the important, factual, contextual information in an attempt to just nuke the entire subject. Now, you've got community members thinking one of these challenge guys is the other. Nobody knows exactly what's going on, and like I mentioned earlier, in the end, the hate mongers, the doxers, and those Reddit terrorists won the day because they got the challenge taken back after ruining a man's life. However, we've got a little ray of sunshine here. A bit of news on this subject as I was recording this one. One of my Discord mods sent me this full timeline of the events, which you'll be able to find over on the Helldivers Unfilitered Reddit, with a very, and I mean very, comprehensive breakdown along with links to everything. And for the OP that created this, first I'd like to say thank you. And second off, I know and can appreciate just how much effort this document required. As I start to wrap this thing up, I'd first like to say again that my thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Redacted and his family after this tragic set of events. There's a group of us who are already making plans in the background to help out, but it's going to take a little time to coordinate, and if we can get it all set up, I may be then turning back to you, my viewers, for assistance. I also want this to be my last video covering this subject. It's really starting to wear on me emotionally, and barring some major turn of events, which I'll of course report on, I've said all there is to say about this. And finally, I still think the removal of the dev challenges and discussions from the subreddit was a total boneheaded move by the mods, because in doing so, it only empowers those that took it upon themselves to destroy this man's career. Editing Buzz here, and during the recording of this video, the official Reddit mods have made a follow-up announcement to their post from yesterday, admitting it was a knee-jerk reaction to ban challenges in the Reddit, so they will be allowing them from here forward, but with a lot of qualifications, including showing you have the funds to make good if the challenge is beaten, proof of payment, money goes to charity, and the wording has to be pre-approved ahead of time. You also have to have the consent of the person you are challenging, and there's no guarantee that Arrowhead will accept your challenge. There's also still a loophole here for the mods, as the approval starts and ends with them, so if they don't approve, your challenge will never see the light of day. But again, this whole thing and how the mod team inside the official Helldivers Reddit actually handled it leaves a lot to be desired, with of course that knee-jerk reaction and ban hammers being deployed as the panic set in. All around, it's not a good look that has festered into an open, gaping wound for the Helldivers community. If you feel like supporting the channel, please consider hitting subscribe and ringing the notifications bell. Drop a comment and let's talk about anything Helldivers. If you're on mobile, please swipe right to hype the video. And a special thanks goes out to all of my hardcore channel members. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.